Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I thought we would do something different today. I thought we would do the, I'll turn my chair so I'm not constantly looking to the side. I thought we would do the Authotube Newbie Tag. Since I have been familiar with Authortube for many, many years, I am new to the platform itself, so to speak. So, I went through and watched a bunch of videos and got all the questions. So here we go. How did you find Authortube? Well, I stumbled across it several years ago when I was writing my last book, the book that has never been finished. It's the book that I was writing when my dad was in hospice care and dying, and after he passed away I just never went back to it. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I think I used it as a means of escape when he was sick. So that's when I stumbled across Authotube. That's also, I think the way I stumbled across it is I was looking up ways to plot and outline, because I was a pantser up until that point. And the book I was writing was the beginning of a huge series, and I knew I needed to plot it out because I had several books that needed plotting, because it was supposed to lead into this whole Zodiac series, and this was like the first book was sort of like the introduction to that world. So yeah, it was a big deal, so I knew I needed to plot it out. But that's how I came across Authortube. What genres do you write in? Okay. I currently write in urban fantasy. I have 3 books published. None of them are urban fantasies. The first book I ever published was actually, it's a contemporary romance. Nothing paranormal or fantasy about it, just straight up contemporary romance. And then the second and third book I published are both paranormal romance, which I guess you can kind of, because there is, like a magical element, so I guess you can kind of get an urban fantasy kind of thing about it, but they are labeled as paranormal romance. So that's what I used to write in, and now I currently write in urban fantasy. I am yawning, I'm sorry. What is your preferred writing tense, point of view, and category? Alright. My preferred writing tense is third person. No, past tense. Excuse me. My point of view is third person. My preferred writing tense is past tense. It's just what feels natural to me. I've tried writing in first person, and it just doesn't feel right. Now, I'm sure if I come across the right character, and that's how they wanted to be written, then I'd probably be able to do it. But for me, at this point in time, third person, past tense feels most natural. Are you a plotter, pantser, or plantser? Okay. Cool. As I said before, first 3 books, completely pantsed. Now, I'd consider myself more of a plantser. I do plot and outline pretty detailed, but I also leave myself room to be creative, and if something feels like it needs adding, I just go ahead and add it into the book, even if it's not in my outline. If something goes completely off the rails to something else, then I adjust my outline. So I am forgiving myself in that way, but I do like to start out with a fairly structured plot now. I think some of that has to do with my ADHD brain and the way it works, because it's hard for my brain to focus Oh, one thing. I am so tired, y'all. But hopefully that will be changing soon. I'll let you know more about that in the next vlog. Alright. Self-published, traditionally published, or soon to be published. Okay. My first 3 books were originally traditionally published. I was published through Cobblestone Press, and at one point they decided to go more toward erotica, and that's not what I write. While I do write some steamy scenes, and I did in those 3 books, I don't write that level of heat. So I didn't feel like I fit there any longer, and I pulled my books. And then I restructured, I redid the covers and everything and re-released them. I need to redo the covers again because they are dated. But now I am self-published, or independently published. And I hope to be published again soon. So I guess you could say I'm all 3. What videos can we expect? Okay. I want to start doing some live writing sprints. I want to start... I still want to continue the weekly vlogs. I do find those fun and interesting and get to see my journey. And again, more information on what's about to happen will come in the next vlog. Some changes I'll be making for myself. So that will be added into it. I still want to know what y'all would like to see. I'll still be doing my TBR pile, what I've read, whether I like the stories or not. I'll still be doing that. I'll probably do some Q&As. So just, I've got good things planned. Next question. When did you start writing and reading? Okay. My parents let me read my first chapter book when I was in 1st grade. This is not a 1st grade appropriate book. However, I could read on a higher level than 1st grade. And I liked horror. I would stay up at all hours with my mom during the summer, and we would watch scary movies. That was just what I liked. Even as a little kid, I still like staying up watching scary movies. My first chapter book in 1st grade was Pet Sematary by Stephen King. Again, not an appropriate... What are you doing? I'm being video bombed by my cat. She's after a bug that's on the other side of the window. It's about to be caught in a spider's nest because the spiders and the bugs are out at night. And there's moths flying around, so she's after one. But anyway, Stephen King, Pet Sematary was my first chapter book that I ever read, and it's actually the first book I remember reading. I know I read books as a kid and stuff in school, but I don't remember what they were called. I think one of them had something to do with a dog. I don't know. But I did like horror. So as far as when I started writing, the first, I think I wrote like little poems and short stories and stuff growing up from the time I could actually write. So I've been writing since I was a little bitty kid. I've always enjoyed storytelling, and so there you go. What was the first story you ever wrote? I don't remember the first story I ever wrote, but the first story that I remember writing, I wrote in junior high about a boy I had a crush on. Embarrassingly enough, he found it and read it. So that was embarrassing. No, we never dated. We did become best friends, but we never dated. What authors have inspired your writing? Oh Lord. I would say people like, oh Lord, Cassandra Clare. I love her books. Lately I've been inspired by Colleen Hoover. I love her stories. There's a lot that inspired me. I can find some inspiration in almost anything I read. Even if I didn't really like the book, something about it drew me to it to begin with, and it's not always the cover. I do find inspiration by, I love Edgar Allan Poe. I love his writing. I used to collect his stuff. But yeah, I would have to say Cassandra Clare, Colleen Hoover, Edgar Allan Poe, with some of the darkness, I guess, because my urban fantasy is kind of a dark urban fantasy. Because it generally deals with darker subjects. I'm trying to think who's on my shelf. I don't know. That's the ones that come to my brain right off the top of my head. Do you schedule writing sessions or just write when you can? I just write when I can. I have a pretty full life in that I have a special needs daughter, so I have to keep a good check on her during the day. I typically don't write unless she's occupied where I can still see her, or if she is asleep. And then I also have a 16-year-old coming in and out all day long when he's not at school, 18-year-old coming in and out when she's not at work. And as you know, my 21-year-old just got married and she's moved out. My 24-year-old's already moved out and married. 20-year-old stepson doesn't live here, but there's just a lot of in and out, a lot of appointments for my youngest. So I kind of have to work around all that and around all the stuff that has to be done during a typical day, like cooking and cleaning and all that stuff. So I just write when I can. Sometimes that might be 200 words if I'm lucky. Some days I might hit 3,000 or 4,000 words. It just depends on how much time I can get in there. I'll even take a notebook with me sometimes. Just write when I can. Do you type on a computer, typewriter, by hand, or use a combination? I'd have to say I use a combination. I use my computer mainly to type out my stories. I plot and outline on both notebook paper and on the computer. I started in the notebook and then moved it to the computer later. And like I said, sometimes I take my notebook with me to write out scenes when I'm like waiting on an appointment, or just sitting in the car doing nothing when Cheyenne's having one of her appointments, because some of her appointments I can't go in for, like her therapies. They find that the children work better with the parents not standing over them. I personally don't like that, but what are you gonna do? I could put up a fit, but then she loses her therapy and I have to find her another therapist. So there's that. And the only other therapists are about an hour away. So kind of darned if I do, darned if I don't. What are you looking forward to most now that you're on Authortube? Honestly, just getting to know the community and connecting with you guys, connecting with readers and other authors, and just growing the community and growing as a writer myself, because I learn a lot through you guys. I learn a lot through other authors. So yeah, that's why I'm always asking for your feedback, what you would like to see, because this isn't just my channel. I want to have it for you guys as well, whether you're a reader or an author. Newbie author. I mean, my first book was traditionally published in oh Lord, I'm going to show my age here, 1994 or 5. So, I have been doing this a while. Yes, I got out of the business for over 10 years because, like I said, my dad passed away, and then when he died, my writing just kind of went with it. I didn't feel motivated or inspired to write up until just recently. And so far I've cranked out over 17,000 words. I would have loved to have cranked out more, but again, I write when I can. I do the best I can, and I'll get it done eventually. Hopefully it's before a year's up, but I'll get it done eventually. And maybe eventually I will go back to that series, or at least finish the book, whether I do anything with it or not. I would love to finish that in honor of Dad, because I put so much work and heart into it when he was sick. And of course now my mom's sick, so let's hope, pray, fingers crossed, good vibes, that my passion for writing doesn't go with her, because she was always my best friend growing up. I did not mean for this to take such a depressing turn, but it is what it is. It's real life. Can't always be happy all the time. But yeah, I do want to know what y'all would like to see, because I would like to be able to put content out that you want to see. That's my ultimate goal. Anyway, I hope you have loved this video and enjoyed this getting to know me a little bit more. If you ever have any questions, feel free to shoot them to me, and I'll put together a Q&A session at some point, and I'll try to get all your questions answered then. I hope y'all have a good night and a great weekend, and look forward to the next video, because I do have some news about my personal life that I do want to share with you. Anywho, y'all have a great weekend. Bye, y'all.